Hey everyone, this is Petter. Welcome to yet another game of Aeon's End. Give me 1 second here. I realized it did something wrong. To another Aeon's End Legacy. So, sorry, I think I had the wrong audio turned on there at the very start. So, before I get down to the table, just want to thank you all for joining me, and let's crack open a beer. This is Mango Cart by Golden Road. They're an LA-based brewery that I've had their stuff actually at the brewery before they got big. So that's my hipster fame there. But Mango Cart is, it's not one of my favorite beers necessarily. It's a solid beer, but this again kind of falls into the category of today was 93, 94 with a heat index close to 100 or slightly over. So it's a really good hot day beer. And it's not super high ABV, anything like that. Let's see if I can find the percentage on here. Only 4%. So it's a good one for when you want something, but maybe it isn't the ideal day to drink something. And yeah, you'll really see kind of how much I switch beers during the year. Like right now, it's a lot of citrusy IPAs, really light stuff, fruity stuff, stuff that works well on really hot days. Come winter, you're going to see more of those bigger stouts, porters, stuff like that, a lot of barrel aged stuff. Just because, when it's really cold, then I want a chance to warm up. But let's read a little bit of a story here and get ready for Chapter 3 of Aeon's End Legacy. Malistar stops his lecture mid-breath as Zaxos steps out of a strange breach, healed and stronger than ever. I can use the Nameless's breaches to save us all, Zaxos announces. A swift punch from mist catches Zaxos off guard. How dare you return, coward? You're the only reason Gravehold was destroyed, she screams as Malistar pulls her away. I can fix this. We need more power. We can't keep focusing our little breaches, siphoning slivers of power. Give me another chance. I learned to tap into the Nameless breaches. We can use that against them. Zaxos, finding no support, sulks away. Malistar continues as if nothing happened. We have more important things to worry about than his tirades. The Nameless are getting stronger every day, and you need to be better equipped. Our scouts have found some sort of breeding ground. I believe the pods produced there can be harvested and used to craft powerful new equipment. Your mission is to defeat the Nameless, harvest the pods, and close the breach. Gravehold survivors need you more than ever. Open Insight 5. It's supposed to have something for the rulebook. Let me find it over here. 9. That is just a whole sheet. There's a lot of rules on this, so let's get cracking on it. We start here somewhere. With B. $15 shield tokens. So I'm assuming it's going to have us open something else. Alright. That looks like L is the next one. Nemesis setup example. Alright, we have K here as well. That explains. Each Nemesis has a specific set of cards. Nemesis decks comprise of between 20 and 31 cards, as determined by player count. So the 9 Nemesis cards, and all the basic cards that have not been banished. Cool. So we have next P. When you deal damage, if a minion has any shield tokens when dealt damage, remove 1 shield token instead of removing life tokens. Remove only 1 shield token each time a source deals damage to the minion, regardless with the amount of damage dealt. That sucks. So if something has 2 shield tokens, you have to hit it twice to get going. R. Draw phase. If a minion with a shield token comes into play, place that number of shield tokens on it. You only remove 1 per attack. Just important reminders. When a player becomes exhausted, resolve the Unleash effect twice. And finally, losing a game. So I think the first 2 might have been set up to make it much more likely we win. So, losing the game. If players lose the first time they play a chapter, they retreat from the Nemesis and must fight the Nemesis one more time with the following stipulations. They may switch out one of the cards in the supply for a card they had either banished or did not choose to add. The next game, Malistaire will provide some assistance, gain the Malistaire's gift token. During the game, You can spend it to have Gravehold gain. Any player or Gravehold gain 5 life. And during the next game, do not place any evolve stickers or transform any cards. You may choose to evolve a card, but nothing happens. And then if you lose for a second time. So basically setting it up so you have a better chance to win the second time, and you're not causing the evolve to go really, really fast. So, next thing, Chapter 3, Search for Power. We have the Spawning Horror. We have Malistair's Gift, which we don't have access to right now. And we have the 15 shield tokens. That game trace is getting full of tokens. Drop that down there. You go over here. So we've done this piece. Go up to 50 with the dial. And I'm going to sort the basic cards out into their proper groups, because then I think we have more here. So we then have a group of cards here, L20 through 26, with a conclusion, so we don't have anything else coming up there. And playing with 2 players, we banish L20 to 23. So basically some basic Nemesis cards go away. We're just adding in a few more. And then open deck stop 3. That's not 3. Alright. Use the basic Nemesis cards and the cards for the Spawning Horror. Stopping here. And alright. The Breeding Chamber at 4 health. Make sure I have my life for my heroes. We have some 0 level cards. Alright, unleash. The breeding chamber gains 3 life. Additional rules. At the end of the Nemesis turn, if the breeding chamber has 11 or more life, it imbues a pod. Choose a card from the pod deck, place it into play. The breeding chamber loses 10 life. Repeat until the breeding chamber has 10 or less life. When a pod is discarded, place it in the pod discard pile. If the pod deck is empty, shuffle the discard pile, form a new one. When there are 7 pods in play, the spawning horror completes its metamorphosis and the players lose. Alright, so time to shuffle up. And get going. Alright, so let's get the 3s shuffled. Get the turn order shuffled. And 18 minutes in, we'll take you down to the table. Wrong one. Alright. Let's start out, of course, with the Nemesis. Spine Harvester. Three shield on it, and 2 damage. There is no unleash or anything on that, so we're just dropping him into play. Of course, Nemesis again. Power 2. Unleash. Any player suffers 1 damage and discards 2 gems. If both of those gems cost 0, evolve. So we're going to want to discard, buy some nicer gem, and do something. So we have a spark and 3 crystals. So I'm going to purchase that one, put my crystals there. So the one nice thing about this is the wording on shield. Let's just go back to that for a second here. Because, so, for example, Aeon here has 2 spells. She will do 2 damage on an attack to the minion. However, because she has 2 spells, it will remove 2 shields. Where a single spell that does 2 damage, that would only remove 1 shield. This is Oliver. Get a spark into play. And I can immediately purchase a level 5 gem, since I have 3 plus this one is 2 for purchasing a gem. That will take me up to 5 purchase power. Put that there. Aeon, well, we're going to fire off the spells, just like I said, taking out both shields. And then we're going to get another spell prepped. And 4 money. I could go for another gem. Not a bad call. I think I will, just because it's going to be 2 rounds until, or 2 activations, I should say, with the Nemesis before that goes off. So Sulfur is going to go. So I want to be able to really kind of stack it so that I'm going to have a gem in there. So I'm actually stacking it for both of them. Because I really don't want to evolve that yet if I don't have to. At least nothing's been unleashed yet. That's always nice. Zolifer. Boom. Fire that off. Take him out. Great. Discard pile up here. Let's look at our hand. Of course, now I'm in a weird spot of discard. So that's 4 plus 4. So 8 total. I'm going to get a Crumbling Compound and a Breach Flare. That allows me to start focusing the Breach 3s. Oh, one character should be down 2 health. I forgot, with the Nemesis going twice in a row, to activate the minion ability. So Nemesis goes, we lose that. So it says, Construct. Draw a card from the pod deck and place it into play. Set its health to 2. And that doesn't affect shield tokens, but the acidic pod doesn't actually get any shield tokens. And then we discard that. Let me set this up right so that I know. Since you activate in order. Oof. So, any player suffers 1 damage and discards 2 gems. And I'm discarding a gem that costs 3 there, because that means that card does not evolve. And then 2 damage to the one with the fewest open breaches. We're the same, we can pick, and then we flip. Discard, spend 6. Where we can either, after 3 Nemesis goes, we can activate the pod with the highest life 3 times, or the breeding chamber gains 5 health. I really don't care to do that, so let's try and get our 6. Zolifer. Drop a spell in. And I have a total of 5 purchase power for him. I'm going to buy a spell for 4. And I'm going to keep a crystal in my hand. Why? Just because I want the additional money to potentially be there. And you don't have to discard the whole hand immediately. So, Aeon. Let's go next. I have a smaller hand than normal. I'll pop off a shot here and actually hit the breeding chamber, because I'm going to put my supporting shot, which can do 2 damage, into play. Then I have 2 purchase power, so there's only one thing I can get, the Fire Chasm. I'll grab that. Wrap up her turn. And this is Aeon. Fire off that shot. Take out the acidic pod, creating a discard pile up here. I only have 5 money, so 5's great, but it means I can't deal with the amplify energy. I'm going to grab an Incinerating Fist. I'm going to have played all my cards to do that, because I want to draw a full new hand for her. And we shuffle again. I feel like this one might go longer. Oof, Nemesis. Leviathan Egg. Persistent. Evolve. 5 health. I generally count up damage, so... No! So that tells me to read E02. The large egg begins to crack open, and a scaly hand bursts through the membrane. The creature's claws claws its way out of a massive shell, its long, sharp teeth glistening. It won't take long until it finds the next meal. Banish this, and immediately replace it with the Leviathan Hatchling. So, 1 damage to Gravehold, and on level 4 or higher, or chapter 4 or higher, it evolves when it's played. So that's fun. Alright. Aeon, how much money you have? Not that much. Fire off a spark. We'll track it down, I guess. And we're going to get 2 into play. 3 money. Or 4 money. So let's get the branching radite. I just really want to get rid of this amplify energy. Though now that I look at it, well, I think I would have to have the breeding chamber gain 5 health. So Zolifer, do you have the... You do. 6. But before I do that, we will fire off this spark. Let me put stuff in the right order here. Take care of that. To discard. Alright. So then, well, I guess Zolifer again. Yeah, I want to keep the minions in check. Somewhat. I can get really close to killing him next turn with Aeon. Let's see what we have here. So, I can get... Oh, excuse me. 4 purchase for a spell. I could discard that, just go straight up to 6. Let's remind myself what Starfire Frenzy does. Deals 8 damage. You may discard a spell in hand. If you do, deal 1 damage, additional damage, and gain 1 charge. You know, I'm actually going to spend all of it, oddly enough, here. 1, 2, 3. Halfway there to being able to heal somebody. Then, Aeon. I'd love it if we could reach a time where the Nemesis does not go twice in a row. I'm going to do 1 the big guy, down to 49, and then 2 to the hatchling. Why? Because I have this card. I'm going to spend all 4 to open up this breach and put in this one. So this deals 2 damage to a minion. Both of these are considered minions. This one, I can just kill it with that 1 attack. I don't think the breeding chamber goes away. Yeah. It just basically counts up in life. Let's remember to get our hands ready. Good little shuffle here. Keep the Nemesis cards separated for once. Zolifer, 2 damage. I can focus a breach 3. I will do the 2 damage right here and focus his breach 3. Just straight up open 1 for 4. I'm going to do that. Do a similar setup. We have everything here cleared out, so I'd love if I could get in, say, Zolifer's turn, so I could hit the main boss. Hey, Zolifer's turn. That is 4 damage, down to 45. 1/10 of the way there. Discard. So I have 6 purchase. And I'm going to do the Ethereal Hand, which allows any ally to draw 2 cards. So I can potentially really load up Aeon in the future here. Aeon. Well, I'm going to use this 2 off of there. Another 3 to the boss. And let's see what the hand looks like. We have a spark. A spark and 5 purchase to get an incinerating fist. Gonna get rid of all the cards. To do that, because I want to start getting. I have, I think, a decent balance of money. I want to start getting spells out there. 1. Ooh. Forgot about her ability, which during her main phase can cast a spell from any player's prep spell, and it deals an additional damage. So I'm going to start prepping for that, because we should maybe start getting some more that allows to focus, Breach 3, or that Starfire Frenzy one. Well, we know what's coming up is Nemesis, so days. Any player discards or takes 2 damage. We'll have Zolifer do that. And discard a card from hand. So it has to be Zolifer. It evolves, gains 1 evolve sticker if what I discard costs 0, but I want to keep what I have. So we're going to place our first evolve sticker on it. Gets discarded. Nemesis. Unleash. So 3 life here. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. And if it was chapter 4 or higher, we'd evolve this card, but it is not, so we're good. Get a shuffle up again, and I think this will be a little bit longer of a game. Not because necessarily it's that, well, thus far it hasn't been that much harder, but more so it took longer at the beginning to get the game set up. Aeon. I'm just going to do all 3 damage to get the spawning horror down to 38. I now have the one, like, I'm going to use the supporting shot quite often on the breeding chamber, because it's a minion, so it can take off 2. I have 5 purchase. We're going to do a breach flare and a fire chakram. Just again getting those additional spells in there. Zolifer. Boom. Drop it by 1 down to 37. of 5 purchase. I'm going to go with an Incinerating Fist. Yep. It's the right one, for sure. Nemesis. To discard, evolve. Power 2. Unleash. Any player suffers 2 damage. Players collectively discard 2 cards. You know what? Well, it has 2 on it. Flip, Zollifer. We're going to discard this. We're going to evolve this card because that's kind of nasty. And because it has the 2 evolve slots, it's not like we're replacing it immediately. It just gets a sticker and goes away. 2 damage. Down to 35. Focus hers by 1. And then get our 2 spells in and get 5 purchase power. Of course, only 5. A little bit less than I'd like. I'm going to do a Crumbling Compound here, just because I think it's going to be worth it to potentially get up to that 6 now. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. Almost did that. Put the Crumbling Compound back. We're going to use to get 2 more on here. We are 1 away from being able to activate this for my main phase, which would then allow Zollifer to heal 3. Or Aeon. Nemesis. So Breeding Pond gains 5 life. And that's it. We just unearthed. It's going to be Aeon, which is great. We knocked that down by 2 for sure. And that takes us to 7. So I'm actually going to hit it for an additional 3. Because now it's not within range. And get a spell out. We only have 1 in play. So only 5 purchase power. I'll buy one of those. And then work on getting my ability up and running. And we're back to shuffling. So I feel like this is going okay to this point. Granted, we're still in wave 1 kind of cards. Hunted. Player with the lowest health suffers a damage, and this card evolves. This is E04. The Nameless strikes you. A strange brand appears in your skin. Your chest tightens and you can't breathe. You know the Nameless isn't finished with you. Oh, boy. So this one gets banished. And let's see, I do have a writing utensil down here. Let's see which one of these is best for this? Probably neither. Try this one. Slightly better. So, next time, it unleashes twice, and Zolifer suffers 3 damage. So that is rough. Oof, seriously? Nemesis again. Tremor. 7 to get rid of. 2 power on it. Unleash twice, so that'd be 6 to the pod. Gravehold suffers 4 damage. If it has more than 13 health, which it would evolve. So that sucks. Zolifer. Sometimes you have a lot of money. But only 6. 6. I will have spent these 4 damage to the nameless. Nameless to the nemesis. It was pointed out last time that the nameless really have a lot of names. And we got the ethereal hand out, so that means Aeon can get 2 more cards to play around with. Of course, it's Zolifer again. Let's see. 5 purchase. Yeah, 5 purchase. Because I'm going to spend 2 to place one here. I'm going to activate it immediately to gain Zolifer 3 life. And then that leaves me with 3 left. I will get a Breach Flare. Now it's going to be Aeon. 3 damage. Here, 28. So Gravehold has the same amount of health. Oh, crap. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I was hoping she would get more money from that, but only 4 purchase power. We're going to get another Incinerating Fist. No, we're not. We're going to do 2 down there. That gets her close to being able to pump out some more damage. And that is gone. Forgot to draw 5 for Zolifer. And now 5 for Aeon, knowing that she will be going next. So these 2 have to get fired off. And these 2 will get that turned for another 4 damage. We're down to 22. Playing real fast against this guy. Well, 3 purchase will get us a brain knife, and 2 more will get us the last one here. And then we'll spend to fire off this Incinerating Fist, which will do 4 damage to the big bad, down to 18. 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully we get a good shuffle here, because I do think that especially Zolifer has the potential to do 7 and to be able to deal with that Tremor card. Because I really don't want that going off. Aeon. That shot goes off, removing 2 from there. Fire that off. 2 more, down to 16. Prep 2. And have 5 purchase. I'm going to grab another gem and put that there. Just, again, still really pushing. Like, I know I won't see that before this will go off, but really trying to get that little bit more money. Ooh. Lose 1. Accelerated breeding. Discard 2 or more gems that cost 3 or more. And that would cause the breeding chamber to gain 5 life, because we don't have any Ooh, of course it's Aeon again. So we'll open up Breach 3 for her. And 5 damage, down to 11. Only one that costs 3 or more. For a purchase power of 5. Well, Zolifer. We're going to do the 4 damage. Get him down even further. Thankfully he doesn't have shields. Down to 7. Only 5 purchase power though, so not enough to deal with that. Only 1 gem of that type in my hand. I'm going to get another one of those. Again, probably not the right time, or won't be in time to actually use it, but yeah. Drop that, that, and that. Unleash twice, so that's 6 health to the pod. So we'll have to hit the pod again here soon. It's at 8, so yeah, we'll go up to 11. 4 damage to Gravehold. Down to 24. It says okay, so it evolves once, but again, there's room for 2 stickers. So this is actually working out pretty okay for us. The marked card sucks. There's no way to avoid a double unleash. Zolifer, please tell me. Well, focus that. 2 damage. Actually do the 2 damage here this time. Two cards for Aeon. 4 money. Branching Radite. I'll put that in the correct order. We shuffle up again. I mean, I feel like I've done pretty decent at this thus far. Zolifer. Absolute garbage, so 4 damage out. Down to 3 health. Place that in. We have 5 that can get us a gem, or 3 to purchase something else. I'm going to take a gem for 5. Who do we got here? Nemesis. Bummer. So, 5 health here. And it will have more. Any player suffers 2 damage. Zolifer will. That will lose 2. And we put out a pod. 2 shield, 4 health. But, I mean, fingers crossed here. We're so close. Persistent, any player suffers 2 damage. Okay, that's doable. Aeon, 3 damage. Doesn't matter what else there is, because that takes the spawning horde down to 0. With the Nameless Fallen, you are able to channel your power into the breach and force it closed. As soon as it vanishes, sunlight streams through and brightens the area. It is now safe to harvest the pods. The survivors line up to volunteer, eager to support their breach mages, however they can. They pack carts full of strange materials and return to the camp. Malistar is confident in his ability to turn those remains into powerful tools. Read the back of L28. The survivors are overjoyed at your return. Save Zaxos, who is hysterical. You closed it, accuses Zaxos. I know how to draw strength from the Nameless's breaches. I can save us with their power. Brahma snaps at her former pupil. We will focus our own breaches as Aois. There's a reason it is forbidden to draw power from the Nameless. Zaxos snarls and storms off, vanishing once again into a black portal, lost to the void. We don't have time for this. Malistar turns his back on the empty ground where Zaxos once stood. We have a war to win. Malistar spends the next weeks crafting these pods into powerful equipment tailored to your needs. Once Malistar familiarizes you with your equipment, he heads to the forge. Open Insight 6. We get the big fun ones here. Let me switch back over. So place the equipment image sticker that belongs to your character class on the picture of your character. Fun. So Aeon. Gains. Exploding arrow, or powered arrow. Zolifer. Staff glows more. First equipment. Alright, I'll look at the rules here in a second, but let's go through the equipment. At the start of your first turn of the game, gain 2 charges. At the start of your first turn of the game, focus 3 breach twice. When you open any player's breach, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. That's not bad. When you gain a card that costs 5 or more, gain a life. Also not bad. 2 spells may be prepped in your blank, write a breach number on it. When you play a relic, gain a money, or gain a gem. When you cast 2 or more spells during your casting phase, gain a gem. Once per turn during your main phase, you may discard a card in your hand. If you do, deal 1 damage. Zolifer. I've kind of brought you one particular direction here, so we're going to go with healing. Gaining those 2 charges means that we can get to his heal fast. And Aeon, we're going opposite direction, where once per turn she can discard a card from hand to deal a damage. And then we have some rule stickers. E. Silence. Five silence tokens used with certain player cards. When a minion is silenced, place one of these tokens on that minion. During the next Nemesis step, remove that token and do not resolve the persistent effect. You may not silence a minion that has a silence token on him. Cool. That actually is really cool. Equipment. I mean, we kind of know what equipment does because we saw it already. Gives them a unique effect throughout the game. Outside of it, they can be used to make the game easier. So if we're not playing the legacy version, can always still use it, but it's obviously going to make the game easier. M. Supply must contain 9 piles of cards and have at least 2 gems, 1 relic, and 3 spells. So I could go down to, say, 2 gems if I wanted to. Silence, again, just talking about how that works. The surface holds many secrets. Mist returns from a scouting trip with a smooth, pale spheres. These gems can silence minions, freezing them for a short while. Open box C. Six silence tokens. Now, I will say with this, the opening of the boxes, most other legacy games, I think, use them slightly better. In particular, I think of Pandemic Legacy. Look through some stuff. Mainly because you open completely new types of things. And while silence tokens definitely are a new type of thing, it feels familiar. So this then gains us some cards to swap into our supply. The Soothing Toparine, either 2 or Silence. Void Mill, focus any player's breach. 2 different players may destroy the top card. Arcane Salvo, once well prepped, once per turn during your main phase, you may place a relic you played this turn or a relic in your discard pile on the top of your deck. 4 damage. Breach Collision. When you gain this, you may displace the top and on top of any player's discard pile. 5 damage and Gravehold gains a life. So I think the 2 I'm going to swap out are going to be the Ancient Cyanolith for the Soothing Toparine and the Arcane Salvo for the Starfire Frenzy. Mainly because I really like the idea of silence. I think that's going to be key sometimes. And we didn't actually buy any Starfire Frenzy. It's a good way to get charges at the bottom, but being able potentially to really kind of get that ethereal hand working, that could be pretty cool. So I like that setup. We'll get everything sorted out here in a second. But besides marking down that I won, against SP win on 7/28. That's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. If you're checking this out after the fact, give a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think of choices I made and the luck I had in this, because I feel like I actually got fairly lucky, or at least a little bit, being able to deal with one of the powers. I feel like had I not been able to get rid of it, probably would have had a few more of the pods come into play. And actually having that first pod come in at 2 health with no shields was really nice. But like I said, thank you so much for watching. Hope that you had fun. If you like the content that I do, subscribe and click that notification bell. You'll get notified as to when I go live. I have a whole bunch of links in the description from where you can find me on social media, to nerdologist.com website, which is all about a lot of nerdy stuff, to talk about Malts and Meeple, or not Malts and Meeples, 10 Minute Marvel, my Marvel podcast you can check out, as well as a link for Patreon. All the money there goes to help improve the quality of the stream, as well as then the nerdologist.com website and the 10 Minute Marvel podcast. And, well, you saw I already finished off the beer, so with an invisible beer in hand, bottoms up. I'll see you next Wednesday.